Every day, people are drowning in the overwhelming consequences of chasing instant pleasure. It's a silent epidemic. You might not see it at first, but the damage is real, and it's happening all around us. People are losing sleep, their health is deteriorating, and their minds are slowly crumbling under the weight of constant distractions. Social media traps us in a cycle of never-ending comparisons, making us feel inadequate and anxious. Junk food, while offering momentary satisfaction, leads to long-term health issues like obesity, heart disease, and fatigue. Pornography distorts our view of relationships and creates emotional detachment, leaving us isolated and disconnected from real human interaction. Alcohol and drugs, used as quick escapes from stress, turn into dependencies that destroy physical health and leave lasting emotional scars. The late-night binge-watching, scrolling through notifications, or emotional eating may seem harmless, but these habits slowly chip away at our mental well-being and productivity. We feel more stressed, less fulfilled, and constantly searching for the next quick fix to make us feel whole again. The more we chase after these fleeting moments of pleasure, the more we feed this cycle, and the deeper we sink into a state of restlessness, dissatisfaction, and frustration. We become trapped in our own desires, unable to break free, even though deep down we know these temporary fixes aren't giving us the lasting peace or happiness we crave. If any of this sounds familiar, or if you found yourself caught in the cycle of instant gratification, don't worry, you're not alone. By the end of this video, we'll explore practical steps to help you break free and regain control of your life. So, make sure you watch until the end, where we'll dive into powerful Stoic practices that can help you find real fulfillment. Stoicism, that teaches us how to regain control over our desires, to resist these urges, and to find deeper meaning in life. The false promise of pleasure. We live in a world that constantly promises us happiness through instant pleasure. But why do we so easily fall for these promises? Why do we reach for our phones, order junk food, or indulge in temporary pleasures even when we know they won't bring us lasting satisfaction? Let's break down some common forms of instant gratification and the false promises they make. Sex and pornography. Sex is one of the most powerful human desires, and in moderation, it's a natural and healthy part of life. But the modern world has turned sexual pleasure into a commodity, something that's constantly available at the tap of a screen. Pornography, in particular, offers instant gratification without the emotional connection or responsibility of a real relationship. It promises a quick release, but what happens afterward? Many people find themselves feeling empty, isolated, or even ashamed after indulging. Over time, repeated indulgence can distort how we view real relationships, making it harder to connect with others on a deeper, more meaningful level. Stimulants: alcohol, drugs, and caffeine. Stimulants are another form of instant gratification that offer temporary relief from stress or fatigue. Whether it's alcohol to relax after a long day, caffeine to push through the morning slump, or recreational drugs to escape reality, these substances promise quick solutions. But the problem is, what goes up must come down. The high is temporary, and once the effects wear off, you're left feeling even worse than before, physically drained, mentally scattered, and perhaps even addicted. The more you rely on these substances, the less your body and mind are able to function without them. Social media. Social media is a prime example of how modern technology has turned our brains into dopamine addicts. Each like, comment, or notification gives us a quick hit of dopamine, the brain's reward chemical. But here's the trick. These platforms are designed to keep you coming back for more. The more you scroll, the more you crave that next hit of validation, that next tiny pleasure. But in the long run, this constant chase for approval leaves you feeling more anxious, disconnected, and inadequate. Studies have shown that excessive social media use can lead to increased rates of depression and anxiety, as people begin to compare themselves to the curated, often unrealistic lives of others. Unhealthy habits: junk food, binge watching, and procrastination. Who hasn't reached for a bag of chips or ordered takeout after a stressful day? Junk food is engineered to be instantly rewarding, packed with sugar, fat, and salt that trigger your brain's pleasure centers. But while it feels good in the moment, the long-term consequences are damaging. Weight gain, low energy, and chronic health issues like diabetes and heart disease are the price we pay for giving in to these short-term cravings. The same goes for binge-watching TV shows. While one episode leads to another, hours slip away, and what was supposed to be relaxation becomes regret and procrastination. The pattern is clear. Each of these forms of instant gratification offers a temporary high, a quick fix that doesn't last. And every time we give in, we're weakening our ability to resist future temptations. We're feeding the cycle, training our brains to expect rewards quickly, and making it harder to focus on long-term goals. But why does this happen? Why are our brains so easily tricked into thinking these fleeting pleasures are worth it? The answer lies in evolution. Our brains are wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. It's a survival mechanism that worked well when resources were scarce and danger was always around the corner. But in today's world, where instant pleasure is just a click away, this wiring can work against us. The result? We find ourselves trapped in a cycle of immediate satisfaction that leaves us feeling empty, anxious, and unfulfilled. The destruction of physical and mental health. Now that we've explored why we fall for the false promise of pleasure, let's dive deeper into the real cost of living a life driven by instant gratification. These quick fixes may feel good in the moment, but they come with heavy consequences, both physically and mentally. Physical consequences. When we constantly give in to desires like overeating, drinking, or substance use, our bodies pay the price. Junk food, for example, may taste good, but it's loaded with unhealthy fats, sugars, and chemicals that cause long-term damage. Over time, this can lead to obesity, heart disease, diabetes, and a host of other health problems. The same goes for substances like alcohol and drugs. They offer a quick escape, but repeated use damages the liver, heart, and brain, leading to addiction, chronic fatigue, and even life-threatening diseases. Even something as seemingly harmless as social media can have physical consequences. Studies have shown that too much screen time, especially late at night, disrupts your sleep, leading to poor recovery, weakened immune function, and chronic tiredness. Sleep deprivation also messes with your hormones, making you more prone to overeating and weight gain. Mental consequences. But perhaps even more damaging than the physical toll is the mental destruction that instant gratification causes. When we constantly chase after quick pleasures, our brains become addicted to the dopamine hits that come with them. This leads to shorter attention spans, reduced focus, and an inability to delay gratification. Over time, we become mentally weaker, less able to resist temptation, and more prone to stress, anxiety, and depression. In fact, research shows that people who frequently indulge in instant gratification are more likely to experience higher levels of anxiety and lower life satisfaction. Why? Because they're constantly chasing the next quick fix, never fully satisfied with what they have. The more we feed this cycle, the more our sense of well-being declines. And when it comes to desires like sex and pornography, the mental impact can be even more severe. Repeated indulgence in sexual gratification without emotional connection distorts our view of relationships and intimacy. It can lead to feelings of isolation, loneliness, and a disconnection from real human interaction. The benefits of delayed gratification. So, what's the alternative? How do we break free from this cycle of fleeting pleasures and find something more fulfilling? The answer lies in delayed gratification, the ability to resist short-term temptations in favor of long-term rewards. Long-term satisfaction. The first benefit of delayed gratification is that it leads to lasting happiness. Instead of chasing momentary highs, you're building towards something greater, whether it's physical health, emotional stability, or personal success. For example, choosing to exercise and eat healthily may not offer the immediate pleasure that junk food does, but over time, it leads to a stronger, healthier body that you can be proud of. Delayed gratification also improves your mental well-being. By training your brain to focus on long-term rewards, you become more patient, disciplined, and content. You stop chasing after every shiny object and start investing your time and energy in things that truly matter. Building resilience. Another key benefit of delayed gratification is that it builds emotional resilience. Each time you resist a temptation, you're strengthening your willpower, making it easier to say no the next time. This mental toughness spills over into other areas of your life. Whether it's work, relationships, or personal growth, you become better equipped to handle challenges without falling apart. In a world that constantly pushes us to seek instant rewards, learning to delay gratification gives you a powerful edge. You're no longer a slave to your desires. You're in control of them. How Stoicism can help break the cycle. So how do we break free from the powerful grip of instant gratification? How can we regain control over our desires in a world that constantly tempts us to give in to fleeting pleasures? This is where the ancient wisdom of Stoicism offers practical, timeless solutions. At its core, Stoicism teaches that we can't always control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. It's a philosophy of self-discipline, resilience, and finding true satisfaction by focusing on what's within our control. Stoicism helps us navigate life's challenges without being swept away by emotions, temptations, or external pressures. Let's break down 4 powerful Stoic practices that can help you break the cycle of instant gratification and cultivate a life of long-term fulfillment. 1. Negative visualization, premeditatio malorum. One of the most striking Stoic practices is negative visualization, also known as premeditatio malorum, which means the premeditation of evils. It might sound grim at first, but this exercise is incredibly effective in building resilience and minimizing our reliance on instant pleasures. Negative visualization involves imagining the worst-case scenarios in your life, not to dwell on negativity, but to prepare your mind for any hardships or discomforts you might face. By regularly imagining setbacks, losses, or challenges, you learn to accept that life is full of uncertainties and difficulties. As a result, you become less dependent on external pleasures to cope with life's ups and downs. For example, imagine losing access to the things you usually indulge in: your favorite foods, social media, or even your job. How would you handle it? By mentally rehearsing these possibilities, you prepare yourself to face them calmly if they happen. This practice can reduce your fear of loss and make you more resilient when temptations arise. You realize that even without those temporary pleasures, you're still capable of finding peace and stability within yourself. Negative visualization teaches us that nothing is permanent, and by letting go of our attachment to instant rewards, we free ourselves from the constant need for gratification. This practice also helps you appreciate what you have in the present moment, making you less likely to crave more. 2. Mindful reflection before action. Another powerful Stoic principle is the practice of mindful reflection. Before you act on any desire or impulse, take a moment to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, will this bring me lasting happiness, or is it just a temporary fix? This moment of reflection is crucial because it helps you break the automatic habit of indulging in instant gratification. For instance, the next time you feel the urge to scroll through social media, stop and ask yourself if this action is truly necessary. What are you hoping to gain from it? Are you looking for validation, distraction, or a quick dopamine hit? By reflecting on these questions, you create space between the desire and your reaction. This pause allows you to choose a more thoughtful response, rather than giving in to every temptation. Stoics teach that we are responsible for our own reactions, and by cultivating mindfulness in the face of desires, we regain control over our actions. It's about being aware of your impulses and consciously deciding whether or not they serve your long-term well-being. This practice can be applied to anything, from food cravings to procrastination to emotional reactions. By training yourself to pause and reflect before taking action, you strengthen your self-discipline. You learn to choose wisely, knowing that what feels good in the moment may not always align with your long-term goals. This mindful approach helps you break free from the cycle of instant gratification and empowers you to make choices that bring real fulfillment. 3. Voluntary discomfort. Practicing hardship. One of the most unique and transformative Stoic practices is the concept of voluntary discomfort. The Stoics believed that by deliberately exposing ourselves to small hardships or discomforts, we build mental and physical toughness, making us less reliant on external pleasures and more resilient in the face of challenges. For example, Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, regularly practiced enduring physical discomfort as a way to strengthen his mind. He would sleep on the floor instead of a bed, fast for periods of time, or walk in the cold without warm clothing. These practices weren't meant to torture him, but to remind him that comfort is not necessary for happiness. In today's world, we can apply this practice by introducing small, voluntary challenges into our daily lives. You could try fasting for a day, taking cold showers, or avoiding your phone for a few hours. These exercises teach you that you don't need constant comfort to be happy. In fact, they help you realize that many of the things we think we need are just luxuries, not necessities. Voluntary discomfort helps you break the dependency on instant gratification by making you more comfortable with discomfort. It strengthens your willpower and builds resilience, so when life throws real hardships your way, you're better prepared to handle them without falling apart. By regularly practicing discomfort, you not only toughen your body and mind, but you also develop a deeper appreciation for the simple things in life. 4. Focus on higher goals, developing virtue. Lastly, Stoicism emphasizes the importance of focusing on higher goals, developing virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline. Instead of seeking pleasure or avoiding pain, Stoics teach that we should strive to live in alignment with our principles and values. This shift in focus helps us transcend the temporary desires of the moment and aim for something more meaningful. When you have a clear sense of purpose and higher goals, the pull of instant gratification weakens. You begin to realize that there's more to life than chasing quick pleasures. You start to ask yourself, What do I truly want out of life? How can I grow as a person? What kind of legacy do I want to leave behind? These questions shift your focus from short-term satisfaction to long-term fulfillment. For example, instead of indulging in distractions that offer immediate pleasure, you might choose to invest your time in learning a new skill, helping others, or working towards a meaningful project. These activities may not provide instant rewards, but they bring lasting satisfaction and a deeper sense of accomplishment. Focusing on higher goals also helps you navigate challenges and setbacks. When you're driven by a sense of purpose, you're less likely to be swayed by temptations. You develop the strength to endure discomfort and delay gratification because you're working towards something greater. Over time, this practice leads to a more meaningful and fulfilling life, one that is built on virtue rather than fleeting pleasures. Putting it all together. Each of these Stoic practices, negative visualization, mindful reflection, voluntary discomfort, and focusing on higher goals, offers a powerful way to break the cycle of instant gratification. These techniques teach us how to control our desires, strengthen our willpower, and find lasting fulfillment beyond the short-lived pleasures of the modern world. By embracing Stoicism, we can rise above the distractions and temptations that constantly pull us in, and instead, focus on what truly matters. We can cultivate the discipline, resilience, and wisdom needed to live a life of purpose and peace. In a world overflowing with quick fixes and fleeting pleasures, it's all too easy to get caught in the cycle of instant gratification. We give in to temptations, seeking short-term relief, only to find ourselves more anxious, more dissatisfied, and further from the fulfillment we truly crave. But here's the good news. There's a way out. By embracing the principles of Stoicism, we can begin to break free from this trap. We can delay gratification, build self-discipline, and shift our focus toward long-term goals that bring true and lasting happiness. Imagine a life where you no longer chase the next quick fix, but instead cultivate a deeper sense of inner peace, purpose, and resilience. It's a life where you're no longer controlled by fleeting desires, but one in which you are in control, stronger, wiser, and more fulfilled than ever. I challenge you to start small today. Try practicing negative visualization, engage in some voluntary discomfort, or simply pause and reflect before giving in to an impulse. Even just one Stoic practice can help you take that first step toward a more intentional and purposeful life. And remember, you're not alone in this journey. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Which of these Stoic practices resonates most with you? What are your biggest struggles when it comes to instant gratification? Let's learn from each other, grow together, and continue on this path to a more fulfilling life. And of course, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps build this community, and together we can keep moving forward toward a better, more meaningful life.